here for USC. In the blacks tonight, red numbers, white trim, going left to right here in set number 1. Concordia in the whites with green numbers. Blanchette to start, floats it on Galapo. Fisher back to Galapo, popped up in the back row by Dykstra. Goes to Klein. Whitaker sends it back over. Free ball for the Trojans. Back row swing! And Sterling Foley gets the Trojans on the board. Great start for USC, going to Dylan Klein early. And then the recycle back through to Sterling Foley. Fisher misses Schulteis. Galapo just pops it over the net. Another free opportunity for the Trojans. Back to Foley. Once again, back-to-back swings for number 12.
It's a high IQ play there by setter Blanchette, going back-to-back to his big back row attack where the outside hitter's coming out of the back row and there's no blockers up. It's a difficult ball to defend.
This time attacks Henderson, sent back over once again. This time the other side, Galapo pushes it back down. Trojans free ball the other way this time. Henderson, once again the Trojans defense. Schulteis, Blanchette there for the first touch. Sent back over, joust at the net. Concordia still with it. Galapo, off net swing. Blanchette back over to Klein and uses the tool shed off of the hands of Fisher. And the first kill for Dylan Klein.
Both teams just settling in. You've seen a few miscues on the setting, and both teams just finding rhythm here early in the first set.
Not one, not two, not even 3 opportunities there for the Trojans. And they finally get paid here against Concordia. 3-0 they lead as Whitaker's first swing goes long, looking for a touch and doesn't get it. 4-0 run for the Trojans to start here in set 1.
Whitaker, another one of those players who waited his turn for this Golden Eagles team, transfer from Merrimack as an opposite hitter, and saw the first few games from the sidelines and now has really came into a big starting role for the Golden Eagles.
Galapo, another swing from him. He's already up to 5 here in set 1. Nunez on a knee. Fisher back to Galapo once again. And this time, airmails it all the way. And a 5-0 run for the Trojans to start. And it's enough for John Gurton to use his first timeout. And obviously the offense struggling here to start for Concordia.
Absolutely. Just a few careless hitting errors. And Golden Eagles just look timid and trying to keep the ball in the court. And unfortunately just missing wide out of bounds. And so far, those little errors, it's a 5-0 run for USC.
Foley with 2 kills, Klein with 1 as well for the Trojans. This is another very good USC team, as last year they finished 21-7, 8-4 in the MPSF with 4 losses. Made it all the way to the championship game, but fell to the Pepperdine Waves up at Firestone Fieldhouse, a 3-1 in the championship game. But they return a lot. I mean, Dylan Klein is an excellent player to bring back in any regard. He's up to almost 1,300 kills in his career, 1,238 right now. And well, with his one today, 1,239. But just an excellent guy to have that continues to build with the program. I mean, he really is the USC program these last 4 years.
Absolutely, and you talk about a player who can do it all. He's 3rd on the team in digs, 2nd on the team in blocks, and when you have an outside hitter that's just a go-to attacker like Dylan Klein, averaging almost 5 kills per set, it's a pretty difficult attacker to stop, and it makes it a difficult USC team as well.
He also hits 4th in the conference in his hitting percentage of .385, which is also 16th best in the NCAA, 2nd in kills per set, and 2nd in the NCAA as well with this 4.4. I mean, he just does it all for the Trojans time in and time out. He's had 300-plus kills in his first 3 seasons and looks to be on pace for that as well, as he currently sits at 194. First swing out of the timeout goes to Galapo, tipped on the way through. Blanchette. Close side to Keene and off of Galapo and out of play, a 6-0 Trojan run.
And one thing you talk about with Klein as well, obviously his statistical numbers for this team, but also his leadership. I think as a senior outside hitter who's on the court all rotations, you need a leader that can look up, especially with young players in the libero position as well. And just that leadership and that maturity on the court that he brings as well.
Schulteis ends the run. Concordia's first point comes from the big man up the middle. And it seems like a time in and time out. If you're in a fiddle, you go right through the middle. Schulteis' first swing finds Pater for Concordia, and it's a 6-1 lead. Fisher floats it on Klein. Will make its way over, and a point for Concordia. Tiptoeing it out, and the first ace for Fisher tonight, his second on the season. Concordia fourth in the conference in service aces per set, sit at 1.6. Also 15th in the NCAA. They've found a way to get better game in and game out. From the service line, Galapo sends Klein's shot back to him. And it's a 3-0 run for Concordia.
The bench is feeling it for the Golden Eagles and shutting down the go-to attacker, and just brings a little momentum for this Golden Eagles team and tying it up within 3.
I think if you're Concordia, the bench is going to play a huge factor today. It doesn't matter how good that team is on the other side. It's if you could rally as a team, as that one skips underneath the hands of Fisher. And we'll go down for another kill for Foley. And you see it with Concordia game in and game out. That when that bench is alive, they're difference makers for this team out on the court.
Mm-hmm. And we just talked about the players, too, that come off of the bench. Schulteis there again with a phenomenal swing going through the middle. And, yeah, we talked about the players that have came off the bench and just really made an impact for this Golden Eagles team. And they bring the energy from the bench. And, once again, you see that time and time again, that's what gives them the little extra push to finish.
Schulteis, 2 kills for him now. Has all of Concordia's kills here in set 1. Galapo, powerful serve. Blanchette back over, popped up by Nunes. Joust at the net, won by Foley once again. He's already got 4 kills on the night.
And that's a little bit of a height advantage. We're seeing that as a difference maker for this matchup. Once again, we just talked about the height of the USC compared to this Concordia Golden Eagles team. And like we said, the Parker Tompkinson in the middle of 7 foot and 6'6", 6'8", all those, a lot of height coming out of the pins.
Whitaker swing on the outside, popped up by Blanchette. Klein sent it over for Keene. Galapo in the back row off of the ceiling. Henderson looking for a tip, doesn't get it, goes wide. Another attacking error for Concordia. That's their 3rd here in set 1 as it raises the lead to 5 once again.
A great dig by Galapo in the back row, but just, once again, yes, like you said, a little hitting error, just trying to find the rhythm offensively.
Wesley Smith. Fisher. Whitaker, another powerful swing. Looking for a touch this time, gets it. And his first kill of the night is finally coming here as it's a 4-point game. Nine to 5. Trojans lead it here in set 1. They lead the overall series 16-6 over Concordia. The last matchup in LA. Back through the middle they go. This time Parker Tompkinson gets it done.
Blanchette just showing his versatility there as a setter. Behind the back, the 10-foot line, and still running through his middle. It's just an aggressive, impressive set by him, and the connection as well with Tompkinson. Straight for the kill.
We talked about how good Dylan Klein is, but Caleb Blanchette also in that same conversation. 3rd in the MPSF in assists per game as that one ricochets off the light. A first service ace for the Trojans, coming from the hands of Cooper Keene in the back row.
And Blanchette not only doing it from the setting position, but also making an impact on defense. 3rd in the MPSF for digs as well, and averaging 1.86 digs per set. And that's also a difference maker when you can play defense as a setter.
Habermas sends it over. Blanchette outside, tipped on the way through. Foley swing. Fisher, Henderson close to the net. Trojans push it right back. Galapo to Whitaker on the outside. Ricochets off of a Trojan, and the second kill for Logan Whitaker.
That's the heat Burton wants to see from Logan Whitaker. And once again, a player that's kind of came into now a starting role in the last 2 games against Menlo. Led the team with 18 kills, hitting .306 and 12 kills as well. So really finding his offensive rhythm and just the connection with Matt Fisher as well.
He's found a new stride here since being benched in the early parts of the season, as another kill from the outside from Foley. 6 kill already for the sophomore from Newport Beach. raises it back to a 6-point lead, but 18 kills in the last game for Whitaker versus Menlo. He's had 4 straight games with 10+. He's also had 12 service aces in that same span. It's just a different Logan Whitaker than what we saw at the start of the year as he airmails that one. Largest lead of the night for the Trojans, a 7.
You see that a lot, too, when transfers come in, kind of finding a different rhythm. It's a new coach, a new offensive system as well, and just taking a little bit longer for Whitaker to find that, but he's found a lot of success late in the season.
Foley back still for USC. This time gets Galapo on the floor. Henderson on the outside. Blocked it and kept alive by Keene. Tompkinson up the middle. Galapo two-hand push. Blanchette almost a joust at the nets. And it will call Miles Henderson over the netting point. Once again for the Trojans. It's a 14-6 lead. And Girton will use his second timeout here, a much-needed timeout, because it feels like Trojans starting to find a little bit more rhythm from that moment.
Absolutely, and like we've talked about still, just kind of finding the rhythm for Concordia. Some nerves come into this big matchup, and especially when you have an attacker like Foley on USC going 5 for 8 right now, hitting 625. It's difficult to stop a team and kind of build momentum, and Girton just taking a moment with his team to figure this one out.
Well, we'll take a short break. We got under a minute to go in the timeout, but it's an 8-point Trojan lead here in set 1 between the Trojans and the Golden Eagles. For Sammy, I'm Tavin. We'll be right back here on Big Ten. 14-6, Trojans on top here in set number 1. Thanks to Foley's 5 kills in this first set, as he then sends that one long to give it right back to Concordia. Trojans' first service error of the night. Miles Henderson will go back, had a career high 14 kills in the last one versus the Oaks, where he also hit 375 in the match. It goes right to the antenna. Trojans will reclaim it once again.
And that's been a difference maker for this Golden Eagles team. 11 service aces against Menlo, and just trying to find the balance between aggressive serving and keeping the ball in play for this Golden Eagles team and giving them a chance to defend.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, as I mentioned earlier, 4th in the MPSF, and that is a conference with UCLA, Stanford, Pepperdine, BYU, and of course this USC team, all ranked inside the top 20 in this latest poll. And that just shows you how much pressure they can truly have as Habermas gets a kill. His first swing of the night is pure. But it just shows you, even look at USC, they're 9th in the conference with 1.2 per set. And that 0.4 is the difference between top 5 in the conference and the bottom of it. So that service pressure for Concordia in a game like this is going to pay dividends.
Absolutely. Just being able to get their opponent off the net or a little bit out of a system is a huge factor in this matchup. And not being able to run their middles, unfortunately, Blanchette right there, still running the middle, off the net, almost in the middle, but just getting a little tap over by the middle and finding the court.
Saw Kai Vogel serve there. He will check back out for Concordia. One of the players off the bench who has provided sparks here and there. Sends Blanchette back to the service line. Goes on Henderson. Up the middle for Schulteis. And almost hits us over here. Point for Concordia. 3rd kill of the night for Schulteis. He's still a perfect 3 for 3.
Schulteis and Habermas for the middles for Concordia have been doing a phenomenal job this season. Schulteis hitting 373 on the season and Habermas with 354, and just being really offensively productive for this team and just giving them another option in the middle.
Dykstra on the deck, back over to Keene, and he's Keene for another kill, slamming it down on the hardwood. 9-point lead for USC. Second kill of the night for Keene. Klein goes long. Trojans 4th in the MPSF in hitting percentage, which is also 8th in the nation. They're also 8th in kills per set. They have just been a phenomenal offense. Once again, 2nd in assists per set. Give a lot of credit to Blanchette in the middle, dishing it to all of his powerful insides and outsides as this time goes to Wesley Smith.
And you just look at the spread of Blanchett as a setter as well, getting all of his attackers involved. Every single attacker for the USC has at least 2 or 3 attempts in this match so far, and we're only 19-10 in the first set. So just really diversifying his offense, and it makes it difficult for the opposing team to defend.
Whitaker swing, tipped, and falls down. Foley and Tompkinson combined for the block, but couldn't recycle for the opportunity. Brings it back down to 8. And it brings in Connor Orrock for Concordia. Coming in for Paul Schulteis to serve. Orrock, a senior out of Maple Grove, Minnesota, has been a serve specialist for Concordia this year, as he was last year as well. Can't get it done there. Tompkinson, a quick tap over, and it ping balls on the Concordia side.
And Tompkinson not quite getting on top of that one, but that's one of the advantage of his height at 7 foot, just running quick out of the middle and just a little tap over, and it's a difficult ball for Concordia to defend.
Tompkinson is the tallest player in USC men's volleyball history, so it's easy for him to read the court in different directions as Henderson, using the heights of the Trojans on the other side to send it out of play, cuts it back down to 8, 20-12.
Henderson, just one of those other players as well, coming in as a transfer from OCC and playing a primarily opposite and outside hitter role for this Golden Eagles team, and just once again finding his rhythm and just running the system as well, and under head coach Girton, and just learning to be aggressive as well.
First kill for Henderson tonight, as Whitaker sends a bullet to Johnny Dykstra and throws that one to Flight Club. Point for Concordia. Second ace of the night for Logan Whitaker. Sorry, first of the night for Whitaker. Cuts it back down to 7, 20-13. Whitaker this time slowed down by the tape. Back outside, off of... Oh, they're going to say that wasn't off of Concordia's Foley into the net. 3-0 run for CUI. A little missed time between Blanchett and Sterling. Foley just got on top of it. Whitaker attacking Foley once again. Dykstra back to Foley. Uses the off speed over the Concordia block. Galapo, Henderson. Sends that one to the stairs. Back to his 7-point Trojan lead.
And that's just a smart shot also by USC, taking the setter out, and it forces the middle back for Galapo to set that out-of-system ball. A great set, no matter the less, but it's just a different ball coming from middle back instead of in front of Henderson.
Matthew Fisher, the setter for Concordia this year, didn't play the first couple games because of Aiden Case, but he is dealing with an injury as of right now. But since then, in the last 7 games, he's averaging 9 assists per set. That's becoming the full-time starter for Concordia. And the offenses look different with him. You see it. You saw it versus number 2 Long Beach. Took the first set in that one. Obviously, up at the Pyramid, a little bit of a different story. A 3-0 loss. But then the 3-0 sweep and then a 3-1 win versus the Oaks. And it just different looks that him and Aiden Case bring. Not saying that either one is better than the other, but it's just a different opportunity for the outside.
As well as just their experience as well. Matthew Fisher coming in as a freshman setter and now 6th in the MPSF for assists, averaging 8.63 total. And like you said, I think the most impressive thing about Fisher as a setter is just his ability to connect with all their hitters. Coming off the bench and running the middle right away, I think he has a lot of confidence and experience, especially coming in as a freshman, and that's going to serve Girton really well the next 4 years.
Yeah, Fisher, this is just his 14th match played this year as Henderson sends that one long, because it'll be set point for the Trojans here, leading it 24-16. Blanchett back once again for the Trojans. Trying to end this one here in Irvine. Floats it on Henderson. Nunez calls everybody off. Galapo through the block, popped up by Dykstra. Keene on the outside. Nunez keeping it alive. Henderson puts it over. Blanchett, Dykstra running, unable to secure it. And Miles Henderson, his third kill.
What a dig by Joe Nunez. Just the relentless pursuit for that ball and leading the team in digs with 62. And you see exactly why he's kind of earned that jersey this season. And Junior Libero, once again, coming in as a transfer as well and just finding his role as the libero back there.
Fisher floats it on Dykstra. Back up the middle. The Trojans go. An emphatic kill to end set one from Wesley Smith as the Trojans take it 20. It's 1-0 Trojans. Took set one 25-17 here in an MPSF clash where the Trojans looking to bounce back after 3 straight losses versus top 5 teams in the nation. Lost to UC Irvine and then back-to-back games versus their crosstown rivals in the Bruins. And obviously this one is circled on their calendar as a game that they should win and should feel a lot of confidence towards the rest of their season and really going into the MPSF tournament, which will be in Provo, Utah, hosted by the Cougars of BYU. But their next one, a tough one, against number 15 Penn State. As Trojans are out there, Golden Eagles out there as well as Kai Vogel coming in to serve here in set number 2. 9 aces for him on the year and now give him 23 errors as he'll quickly be checked out for Nathan Habermas. And Joseph Nunez will take his place as well. So Trojans on top here to start set number 2. Again, they hit 500 in set 1. 14 kills, only 2 attacking errors on 24 total attempts. An excellent set 1 as Schulteis gets the Concordia offense kick-started here in set 2.
Schulteis proving to be the go-to attacker right now, hitting 1,000. 4 for 4 on kills tonight, and just Matt Fisher, just the connection and just continuing to build that between them. It just makes him a difficult attacker to stop through the middle when the Golden Eagles are in system.
The 2 younger classmen connecting today as Keene slowed down. Outside, Galapo, triple block for the Trojans. Blanchett. Dykstra setting up for Keene this time, gets it off of the block and lands on the CUI side. Trojans reclaim their 2-1 lead.
And one of the biggest factors, once again, is just Concordia being able to stay in system off the service pressure from USC and being able to run the middle blockers once again, and just they need a good pass and a side out.
We will go back to CUI as Dylan Klein goes into the net. 5th service error for the Trojans tonight. 1 for 5 from the back line. Concordia so far 2 of 4. Dykstra hits the deck, back up the middle, ricochets into the stands. And a kill from Wesley Smith. It's his 4th. Junior out of California. Did not play last year due to an injury. Had 136 kills as a freshman to land him on the MPSF all-freshman team. It's been an exceptional piece as that one from Henderson off of the block gets Smith on the hardwood, and it's tied 3-all.
Smith at 6'11", laying out for some defense there, but you talk about just his role now transitioning into this season, leading the MPSF in hitting percentage, hitting .549. Those are astronomical numbers that you would expect to see high for hitting for as a middle, but not numbers that high, and just leading also again his effect on defense as well for this USC team.
Ball will trickle in between the Golden Eagle block. As Foley will get his 6th kill of the night. Had 5 in set 1. But yeah, looking at Smith, 42 total blocks this year. It's 1st in the MPSF, 7th in blocks per set as well in the NCAA. He has just been a difference maker as the Trojans get their 2nd ace of the night. Cooper Keene, his 2nd. But give credit to Jeff Nygaard in his 11th season at the helm of this Trojan squad. A slow rebuild for the last couple years, just trying to get better in the MPSF. And while the last 2 seasons including this one, they have truly done it as Keene. Another one, back back-to-back aces.
And as you talk about him rebuilding, only one senior, that's Dylan Klein, in this starting lineup, and relatively a youthful team for this. Once again, another one down the line for Keene, but just as a freshman as well as that starting outside hitter and just the depth as this team is only going to get better continuing throughout the season and next year as well.
Cooper Keene now up to 4 service aces. His career high coming into today was just 1. Can he make it 4 straight? And he does! Cooper Keene, 4 straight aces. You see Concordia trying to plead their case that it hit the ground before Henderson touched it. But instead, 4 straight.
And that's a huge factor when you keep a server like Keene on the line for 4 or 5 points. Just difficult to get him off once he starts to get in a rhythm.
And you see Logan Whitaker talking to our officials here tonight. On the R1 is Kim Pickering. On the R2, Tom Ulabari. The line judges are Eric Herrera and Adriana Morales. It's a quick conversation between Whitaker and Pickering, and it will stay at 8-3 Trojan lead. 4 straight aces for Cooper Keene, all going to Miles Henderson's way. This time, Nunez finally able to stop it. Whitaker outside, tapped it over the net. Keene this time with the swing! 5 straight points for Cooper Keene, and it makes it a 6-point Trojan lead. John Gurton will use this first time out here in set 2.
And all credit to that play for Dykstra on the defensive. Logan Whitaker places a nice tip right over the block, and Dykstra comes in for the dig. And you can't talk enough about the effect of the libero position for men's volleyball. Dykstra with back-to-back double-digit dig performances with 19 and 10 digs against the number 1 UCLA. And when you have a libero like that holding down the defense, it's really difficult to put a ball down.
Yeah, AVCA honorable mention last year, second team MPSF, and even on top of that, an all-freshman team as well, a libero for the ages for USC. And obviously we talked about how young this Trojans team truly is, but the loss of Dylan Klein will hurt them in the end. Obviously, you're expecting somebody to step up in a big way. Well, tonight it's been Foley who's got 6 kills, and even on top of that, the freshman of Cooper Keene. Those two together could be a combo for success for Jeff Nygaard for years to come.
And just what a great experience as well for these attackers to not only feel like there's pressure on them coming into the season, they have the big attacker Klein to be able to hold that big offensive impact player role and just get to find their rhythm as they come into this USC program. And just for the years to come, once again, building their confidence and being ready to be that go-to attacker when it comes their senior year and they're looked upon.
Trojans out of the timeout already. Concordia will slowly walk their way back onto the courts as the buzzer sounds. A 5-0 run for Cooper Keene alone right now. But it's a 6-0 Trojan run that put them ahead in this one. As the coach's timeout works for John Gurton, ends that 6-0 run.
Made them think a little bit too much about the serve, and just a point for the coaches, as they like to say.
5-point lead for USC. Their largest in set 1 was 9. Whitaker attacks Dykstra, back over to this close side for Foley, and 7 kills for the sophomore. Side out for USC. Foley 10 kills in the last one versus UCLA. Hit 182, had 5 kills in the previous one, but he filled the stat sheets, 4 assists, along with 4 service aces as well. Whitaker sent right back by the Trojan block, using the heights of Parker Tompkinson, helping with Dylan Klein and Caleb Blanchett. 7-point lead for USC.
Just a difficult triple block to swing around. You got 6'6" coming at you, 6'11", 7 foot. Just a difficult block to swing, especially out of system.
Nunez, the bump set to Henderson. The block once again by USC. Back-to-back defensive stance for the Trojans. Back to an 8-point lead.
And that's a serve and pass game for Concordia right here, not being able to get the ball in Fisher's hands, and just makes the offense predictable and have these pin hitters have to go against a triple block. It's a difficult task.
Foley will send that one long. Currently an 8-2 Trojan run. Concordia just hasn't gone off to the right foot here in set 2. Pass over, Galapo tries to capitalize. Joust at the net, Galapo beats the 7-footer. Klein, Habermas rejected by Klein, still alive. Galapo. Blanchette, back row swing! Sterling Foley, 8 kills on the afternoon.
And what an offensive play by Foley coming out of the back row. And just once again, all credit to the setter, just being able to run 4 attackers and 1 out of the back row and just keep continuing to keep the block on its toes.
Sends that same 7-footer back. Fisher bumps set to Galapo, using the block and attacking the big man. Hits it off of him and out of play. Point CUI. And finally, Galapo gets re-involved with the offense. We saw him have a ton of attacks in set 1, but they've really gone away from here at set 2.
Absolutely, and just a great swing by him. High hands going for the outside of the block, not straight into the block, and just using those fingertips.
It's the first kill for Galapo tonight on 12 attacks. Klein goes cross courts. Gets his just second kill of the afternoon. 8-point Trojan lead once again. Caleb Blanchette to serve, attacking Henderson once again, and the Trojans have found a weak spot on that Concordia reserve line. Miles Henderson has just not had himself a day. Another service ace for USC. They're now up to 6.
And that's one thing as a coaching staff you're looking for, is where can you make the difference in the serve and pass game? And like you said, they found that Achilles heel for this Golden Eagles team.
Galapo slowed down by the Trojan fingertips. Outside to King, using the block himself. 10-point lead for the Trojans, their largest. And it's another timeout call by head coach John Gurton. His team just really not in system, not in rhythm, and the Trojans truly taking advantage of everything.
Absolutely, and like we said, just a serve and pass game. You have a USC team who's relatively been in a system throughout the night, and you can see that by their almost 600 hitting percentage, and Concordia just struggling in that serve and pass game, getting service, getting almost not served off the court, but a lot of service pressure and just finding themselves out of system and putting a lot of pressure on these attackers to swing against a triple block that's maybe the biggest one that they faced all season.
10-point lead for USC on the road as Blanchette sends it into the net. Back-to-back coaches timeouts for John Gurton. Gives Concordia a couple back here. Team just trying to muster up some positives here in this one. Hitting 0-81 against this Trojan squad. Just haven't found a rhythm offensively. It's Klein. Lets that one fly right past him. Gives it right back to USC.
And that's one thing that's difficult about the service game. If you can't keep the ball in the court, it's a struggle to kind of build momentum on your side, and just an unfortunate point for the Golden Eagles.
Klein curls that one just behind the line. 3 straight service errors out of the timeout. 6-9 for USC. 2-5 for Concordia as it puts Galapo back. Trojans able to keep it up. Keene slowed down on the way through. Henderson on his Whitaker on the third touch. Nobody there for Concordia to actually get it over the nets. Point for USC, back to 10, the lead climbs to. 18-8. USC looking to get back in the win column after 3 straight losses. Fisher, Whitaker over the block. Foley the swing, using it himself and out of play. Largest lead of the night for USC, now 11. Foley now up to 9 kills. If he can get one more, it'll be back-to-back games with 10 plus. He's got 5 games this season with 10 plus kills. Smith goes on Henderson, back to him. Popped up by the Trojans. Back row, Klein, Fisher on the touch, and Dylan Klein from 10 feet back.
You just see the speed of this USC offense coming off of a great dig, and then just the ability to transition from offense to defense, and you have that big attack coming out, and just a really aggressive swing back there off of a transition play.
12 points the lead climbs to for the Trojans. Up the middle for Schulteis. Klein in the back row. Blanchette, the bump set. Over to Foley, and that one will fly into the nets. Concordia catches a break, cuts it back down to 11.
And that's what the Golden Eagles need to do. Just build off the errors of USC and just keep the ball in play and just kind of let plays kind of go their way instead of forcing things or doing flashy plays, and they're going to get back in this game.
Connor Orrock checking back in for Concordia. At a serve in set 1 as he curls one into the Trojan back line. Tompkinson, Galapo, the diving effort. Fisher, the bump set. As Habermas sends it over. Free ball for USC. And who do they go? To Klein! Off of Orrock's head and straight into the bleachers. (21-9). Dylan Klein's 4th kill of the night.
And Blanchette just going to that back row attack. You have 3 phenomenal attackers in the front row, but when you have Klein in the back row, give it to him every time.
Henderson rolls it over the block. Klein dives. Tompkinson doesn't get a touch, goes wide. As he was looking for a touch himself. I don't even think he jumped on that swing there, Sammy.
Got to be one of the perks of being 7 feet tall. Like run in transition, just get there.
Just swing an arm, and, well, most of the time it's going to land.
Exactly.
Just a little wide against the Golden Eagles. Whitaker over to Dykstra. To Keene, between the block. And another kill for Cooper Keene. He now has 7 on the afternoon.
And the Concordia block just a second late there. They've gotten some good touches on some of the USC swings, but that's all credit to the speed of USC and just the blocks not able to set up and get formed, and just gets the tool.
Put back over. Klein fist it back down to the Concordia side. And he's slowly counting up his kill number up to 5 here in the first 2 sets. 23-10. Concordia trailing the Trojans. Fisher, back row for Whitaker. That one sails over into the ceiling and off of the scorer's table. An emphatic swing from Whitaker.
The heat behind that swing, he's been waiting to unload that all night. And just a great set once again by Fisher, pushing him to the pin and the back row and just giving him all options.
That one maybe a frustration swing from Whitaker as he finally climbs below the negatives here. Klein tight to the net. Fisher, Galapo outside. Trojan block once again. Whitaker, the bump set. Galapo just on top of it. And it will be set point for USC here as they bring in Ryan Sprague, the senior setter out of Manhattan Beach, to serve. He'll come in for Parker Tompkinson. 11th match for Sprague this season as he floats it on Henderson. Fisher outside. Galapo using the block into the Flight Club.
That's what Gurton wants to see from his outside hitter, Galapo. Get in the air on the last play, just an out-of-system attack into the net, and coming back right to him, Fisher sets him. And just the trust between this team and those players. Going back to him, he gets the kill hard off the block.
Just a second kill for Galapo tonight. 2 of 16. And a negative 0.63. 3 Golden Eagles hitting below 0 or at 0 right now as Vogel comes back in for Concordia. Dykstra to Klein to end the set. Dylan Klein, his 6th kill straight in the middle of the Concordia. And the Trojans lead here on Big Ten Plus after they claim the first set 25-21. 17 in an emphatic and dominant set number 2, 25-12. We'll see how they come out here in set 3 as they have swapped sides. Fisher to Habermas up the middle. Second swing for Habermas tonight, and he gets 2 for 2. Puts Concordia in the lead.
It's a great pass by Vogel as well, and just being able to run that middle. We talked about that all night, like you said, only second attempt by Habermas, and just not been able to serve receive tonight from the pressure of the Trojans.
Whitaker will attack Klein on the other side to Keene, and he splits the Concordia block and the nets to put the Trojans on the board here in set number 3.
And Girton making a change on his side of the net with Kai Vogel coming in to the outside position and switching liberos now with the second libero, Troy Field. So just trying to get a different look for the Golden Eagles.
There's an ace for Dylan Klein, his first of the afternoon, his 14th on the season. Gives the Trojans back the lead here, 2-1. Yeah, Kai Vogel in for Miles Henderson, and I think you look at the service pressure that the Trojans have provided, and Vogel has done a better job this season of playing defense as Habermas. 3 swings for him tonight, and he is still perfect. 2 straight for the big man.
And not a perfect pass by Galapo, but just getting it up to the net for Fisher to run his offense and system. And like you said, back to Habermas and 3 for 3.
Oh, you see the return of Troy Fleming for Concordia, the Chula Vista native, the redshirt sophomore, the second libero for Concordia this season. Seems like him and Joseph Nunez will be swapping back and forth depending on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Kai Vogel service error, the 6th for the Golden Eagles tonight. Wesley Smith back. Fisher outside to Whitaker, and just misses a hair wide.
And you see Fisher going back to Whitaker on that back row deep ball quite frequently so far in this match. So that's really a attack that the Golden Eagles want to get going.
Yeah, look at the hitters for Concordia. Whitaker, negative 083. Schulteis, 4 of 5 as a middle. Galapo just hasn't found a groove as he gets one here in set number 3. His 3rd kill of the night.
And it's a difficult feat as well when you're playing ranked opponents like USC, UCLA day in and day out in the MPSF conference. And how do you differentiate the statistical product that you're getting versus the player when you're playing these number 1 teams? So a difficult challenge as well for Girton to find his starting lineup.
Up the middle, Tompkinson gets one right back for the Trojans. And really, you could say that about Concordia's season as a whole. It's really been a roller coaster. They played Rockhurst to start, 5-set match, a very balanced and even match for them. They took on UCLA. Then they had the number 2 team in the NAIA rankings in Springfield. They swept them. They beat Springfield in the NAIA. And Schulteis once again gets it right back for Concordia. 5th kill for the middle blocker. But going back to my point, then you upset number 18 Princeton. Then you take on St. Xavier's where you beat one. Then you lose to the Masters. Then you have the plethora of D1 ranked opponents here in California that really it's a tough task for this Golden Eagles squad, the D2 to D1 level. And then you take on Menlo. You get the 2 wins versus the Oaks. Then you have USC, BYU. Then you have the other Division II teams. UC Merced, of course, just joining the MPSF this year. Then you have Jessup and Vanguard to end their season. You just want to find the positives versus these highly ranked opponents. How can you perform? What's going to look good versus maybe this equaler talent on the other side when you take on Vanguard, Menlo, Jessup in those regards. And that's what I think John Girton has to really look at this season as a whole.
Exactly, the bigger picture, and I think that just speaks to the mental game that this Concordia team has to have as well. Like you said, playing the toughest teams, and then you're going against a team that you should statistically be beating, and it's a difficult task for the players to just kind of stay engaged and, like you said, find the positives and not maybe feel defeated after a loss to the number 1 team, and you come back day in and day out and try to compete for the next game and the next spot instead of looking at exactly the bigger picture.
Whitaker makes a 7-5 game here in Irvine. As Galapo makes it an 8-5 game after he sends an error into the net. His first of the afternoon. Trojans hitting a perfect 100 here in this third set so far. Fisher, Vogel on the outside, the block there for the Trojans. Recycled right back to number 7. Back row swing goes long from Foley. Just his second attack error of the afternoon, but it gives it right back to the Golden Eagles.
And Vogel doing exactly what he should have done there. Swinging for high hands, keeping the ball in play, and it resulted in a point for the Golden Eagles. So just trying to find a way to stay aggressive, but also keep the ball in play. And like you said, they're getting an attack error and just right back in this game, 6-8.
Schulteis back for the Golden Eagles as that one skips off the net. Schulteis, the redshirt freshman, his 20th ace of the year. And it brings the Golden Eagles within 1.
Schulteis has just been so impressive from behind that serving line, leading the team in aces with now his 20th ace on the season, and just coming in as a redshirt freshman, and just the impact he's made from behind that line as a middle blocker has been extremely impressive.
He's had 6 aces in his last 3 games and will now make it 7 in his last 4 as the Trojans send a free ball over. Vogel, off-speed swing picked up by Klein. They'll send it right back to him as he goes through the block. No touch. Point for Concordia. Trojans frustrated with the call as we're all knotted up 8-all. No challenge here in the CU Arena. Trojans, it's not the first time they've asked to challenge a call here.
That's a great swing by Klein as well, so just a difficult task.
Schulteis, his second on the night, puts the Golden Eagles ahead over the number 5 ranked Trojans here in set 3.
And it's plays like that that just bring a momentum to the Golden Eagles side, and like you see, that energy coming from the bench and just finding ways to stay in this game. You might not shut down this Trojan offense, but if you can rally a few points together like that, you have a game on your hands.
4-0 run for Concordia. Blanchette back up the middle for Smith, and that ends the fire of CUI, all tied up at 9.
Concordia just needing a first ball side out right here. Just important as the next play mentality.
Joseph Nunez will bring a towel out to mop up the floor on the Concordia side. Concordia hit 400 in the set. That is their best set of the night. 5 kills. They've tied their total in set 2. Trojans hitting their worst of 375. Blanchette to Galapo. Fisher to Vogel, tipped on the way through. Trojans hit the deck, and number 7 gets his 34th kill of the season.
A little bit of a miss set by there, but Vogel just cleaning it up at the pin, getting crafty with the tip off the block, and comes up with the point. And that's, once again, you want a player coming off the bench that's willing to make a difference.
6 different Golden Eagle to strike hardwood here in the CU Arena. Whitaker and Schulteis tied for the team high of 5 on the other side for the Trojans. Foley and Keene with 9. Whitaker ties it back up to 10. Dylan Klein back for USC, an ace for him today. 6 kills on 10 total attacks. Nunez punched up by Habermas as Galapo tipped on the way through. Keene splits the back row, and he is the first Trojan in double figures.
Keene putting on an impressive offensive performance tonight. Like you said, 10 kills without an error still, and just going for that deep corner, splitting the defense. It's a difficult ball to attack, especially going high over the block.
Keene's career high in kills is 12, which he had the last time he took on an Irvine squad. Well, yeah, 12 versus the Anteaters. He also hit 421 in that 4-set loss up in Los Angeles. Kai Vogel back to serve for CUI. A bullet just misses long. Trojans will reclaim the lead by 1 here in set number 3. Trojans tonight hitting .556 after back-to-back games where they hit below 300 against the Bruins. Habermas rejected at the door. Combo of Tompkinson and Foley.
It's great eye work by the blocker as well. Foley sees that Fisher is up at the net, which means there's no right side attacker. So just staying with the middle, staying close, and jumping with Tompkinson.
Whitaker using the block to perfection this time. His 6th kill of the afternoon. Brings that lead back down to 1. Habermas will go back to serve for Concordia. The redshirt sophomore, 9 aces to 22 errors on the year as he collects his 23rd error.
Back to serve.
14 serving 12 now. Cooper Keene goes back. Fun fact, he said his favorite USC athlete is fellow Trojan Dylan Klein. Which is funny to look back at some of those. I know you get the weird interview questions. I don't know if you ever had them at Cal Poly Pomona and here as well, but it's always funny to see the questions the SID ask, and your favorite USC athlete, you go to your fellow senior in Dylan Klein. It's just funny to see.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure, yeah, Klein takes that as a high regards, a compliment. And I think once again, too, that just speaks to these athletes come in as freshmen and as they get recruited, and they're looking up to players like Dylan Klein and just the status and the experience that these players have. And then they get on the court and they come in as freshmen and they get to play with them, and just to see them, how they work as professionals in and day out of this program. It's a really unique experience.
All knotted up 14 after the Klein error as Foley gets himself into double figures with the off-speed swing. 15-14 in favor of the Trojans as we reach a media timeout. Neither team calling a timeout here in set number 3. Trojans 15-14 out of the media timeout. Concordia has hung with USC here in this one. Brought their hitting percentage to .357 in the set. As Vogel first touch for Concordia. Whitaker using the block, set back. Fisher, the bump set, back behind. Fit to Whitaker. Kept alive. Whitaker, the backswing, and we'll find Pater for CUI. The 3rd time is the charm for the West Palm Beach native.
Whitaker just with an athletic play, almost behind the back shot, and just finding that sideline.
Took him 3 tries, but he got it done as Galampo will touch the line, making it a service error for CUI. Puts the Trojans back ahead. Can't have those mistakes here if you're trying to take a set versus USC. Concordia has done a decent job, just 11 service errors as once again the middle is for Concordia. Back to work, Schulteis, his 6th kill on 7 total attacks.
And we've talked about the middle's impact all season. Finding those 2 primary middles, Habermas and Schulteis, just has been a consistent factor offensively for the Golden Eagles all night long. And once again, a difficult attack to stop. Schulteis hitting .857 in this match.
And that one ricochets off Klein. Schulteis gives the Golden Eagles the lead. His 3rd service ace of the night, and it's the first time the Trojans will use a timeout. Jeff Nygaard needing a moment to talk with this USC squad.
For recruits to come to Concordia as well. Maybe those players who have gotten overlooked during the recruiting process and you have a school like Concordia who's willing to take a chance on you. And like you said, you're playing in the big leagues. You're playing in the MPSF conference where you're playing the top teams across the nation as well.
Klein out of the timeout, gets himself right back on the board. 7th kill for Dylan Klein as it ties it back up at 17 all. Klein hitting .333 tonight. He's had 10-plus kills in every single game this season, and right now is in jeopardy of it not hitting that mark. But the Trojans go right back to him over the block, and back-to-back kills for number 1.
And you see the IQ by Klein right there. You see him approaching, and he actually takes a look at the block and the defense and where they're set up, and then takes advantage of that donut shot right over the block.
Trojans back ahead here in set 3. Blanchette on Galampo. Nunez to Vogel and slam straight back down by USC. They throw out the triple and add a point.
And it's almost deja vu. We've seen that play a few times in this match. And once again, credit to the USC serve. They get them out of system, and now you have a out of system set coming from the middle back, and USC has that time to set up their triple block. And
set 3 between Concordia and the number 5 ranked Trojans. Fisher back up the middle and a solo. Wesley Smith slams the door on Nathan Habermas.
Wesley Smith tracked that ball so well. Just a great vision as a middle blocker for him. And you see exactly why he's leading the MPSF in blocks. And 11 solo blocks right there make it 12. Just his ability to take the angle of the attacker and read the blocker's positioning.
Once again, Smith stops Habermas' attack right in front of him. And it's a 5-0 run for USC.
And you talk about clutch plays like that. Like we've said, seeing this game go back and forth, both teams doing a good job of siding out, and just Smith doing a great job at getting 2 points for his team.
Vogel off-balance swing goes long. No touch by Concordia. John Girton will use his. Golden Eagles trail by 5. Trojans on a 6-0 run out of 3 straight timeouts. Blanchette still back for USC. Nunez the first touch. Fisher back over to Whitaker. And that one sails over the block and everybody else's heads. Now a 7-0 run for Trojans, trying to close out this one and get out of Irvine with a sweep.
And Fisher right there just trying to reverse the flow. He's running towards the left side of the court and just throws it back to his D-ball attacker, Whitaker, and just a little bit of a misfire.
Galampo pops it up to Vogel, tipped on the way through, and back row of Foley can't get the stop. Kill for Kai Vogel, his second of the afternoon.
Vogel just taking a swing out of his toolbox, going high hands and taking a little bit of power off the swing and just trying to use those fingertips to his advantage there.
Whitaker back for Concordia as he airmails it to the Trojans. And it's match point for USC, 24-18. Trying to get back into the win column. Their last win on February 11th at UC Irvine. Klein deals. Nunez pops it up just at the net and slammed home off of the foot of Galampo. And the Trojans win it here in Irvine, a 25-18 set 3 victory. A 3-0 sweep for USC. And that's exactly what they needed here against this Irvine squad. Just handle business, get it done, and then head back home to take on Penn State.
Exactly, and the Trojans just came out with a clean, good game plan tonight, hitting almost a 600, and just the execution by this team. Once again, all credit to just the serve receive and being able to stay in the system, as well as credit to Blanchette at the setting position. And just when you have an offense that's running this efficiently this early on in a match, it's pretty difficult to stop coming out at 500 in the first set. And like you said, clean slate, and they came into this matchup just looking at it as a game on their schedule that they needed to get done, and that's what they did tonight.
For Concordia, Logan Whitaker finishes with the team high of 7 kills on 19 total attacks. He is one of 2 Golden Eagles to finish above zeros, and that is saying something for this Trojans defense that was lights out. Paul Schulteis, the other, as he goes 6 of 7, 857. Kalapo 3 kills. Habermas as well, plus Henderson. And then Kai Vogel playing the outside hitter in the last 2 sets for CUI. Finishes with 2. Fisher with 20 assists for Concordia. Diggs as Whitaker and Nunez finish with 4. On the other side for USC, Foley and Keene both finish in double figures, 11 and